Joining me now from Denver, Colorado, personal attorney for Roger Stone, Tyler Nixon. Tyler, let's cut right to the heart of the matter. There is pretty clear evidence of juror malfeasance, juror bias, and the judge in this case knows this. So instead of sentencing Roger Stone today, it seems to me she ought to be doing something else. She shouldn't be sentencing the guy. She should be looking into this jury malfeasance. And the only reason I can think of that she's not doing that, instead she's sentencing Roger Stone, is because of judicial prejudice. How do you look at it?
Graham, thanks for having me on. And first of all, how fitting is it that we hear dogmatic Marxian claptrap, ringing from the front of the Democrat pack of jackals running for president as Roger Stone is made into a political prisoner by a leftist autocrat jurist in Washington, D.C. This entire case is an injustice in itself. It has been contrived from get-go. They manipulated every aspect of it in favor of the government, in favor of the Russian collusion hoax, in favor of basically railroading Roger Stone. I have spent 20 years in the law, almost 36 years in politics. I have never seen a grotesque abuse of power up close like this. It is beyond appalling. Roger Stone needs to be pardoned by the president in short order. He needs clemency, and this is the only way you can correct this wrong.
I think the president will. I think at some point, not right now, but I think that he will. But let's face it, let's cut to the chase again. They went after Roger Stone because they couldn't get the boss. They couldn't get Donald Trump, so they made a political partisan piñata, a legal criminal piñata, out of Roger Stone. But let's look at juror 1216, this Tamika Hart. Now, this goes to what I'm talking about here. She should have been nowhere near this jury. She had posts on social media calling the President of the United States the Klan president, talked about Trump and white supremacists, posted about Roger Stone prior to serving on the jury. Now, I have to ask you a question. As a lawyer, what in the wide world of sports is going on with his counsel? Why wouldn't they have a jury consultant who would discover this kind of stuff? How did this person get on the jury?
Well, I don't want to get into the inner workings necessarily of Stone's defense team. I gave Roger my best counsel throughout, and I felt there was a lot left off the table, let's just say, and I'll leave it for Roger to address that down the line. But let's just say that, in my opinion, ineffective assistance of counsel would be valid grounds for Roger Stone's one of his appeal grounds at this point. And just in the instance of Randy Credico, in his testimony, I developed 6 months worth of evidence that would have destroyed Randy Credico and shown him to be what he is, which is a manipulator, a liar who gaslighted Roger, who then changed his testimony, who was playing, as he said in his own words, Credico said, I was playing Stone like Stone was playing Bannon. In other words, implying that Stone was Roger was somehow feeding Bannon information about WikiLeaks, etc. Look, this needs to be a new trial at minimum. I really, it's after a year of this, I'm in shell shock almost. Yeah. I just don't want to see Roger have to go through any more. They've bankrupted him. They've destroyed his life. This year of this ordeal over a year came after they had been investigating and digging through his life and hawking him for a year. With the likes of Adam Schiff and Eric Swalwell and these other criminals on the House Intelligence Committee who violated the heck out of the rules of the House Intelligence Committee, accusing him of lying and basically building up towards this ultimate result till they handed it off to this leftist autocrat posing as a judge in Washington, D.C. It's disgraceful, but I'm in a sense I'm not glad at all, Graham, but it's good that it happened in the sense that Roger, and I think Roger would in some sense agree, it has exposed them. It is just as President Trump has been brilliant at exposing them for what they really are. They can't help themselves. They are totally megalomaniacal and they can't stop.
But it shouldn't come down to this. I think you and I would agree. It shouldn't come down to a persecution of an innocent man. Just for clarity, this Credico person you're talking about was one of the key witnesses in the prosecution's case. He's a liberal pundit, and Roger made a crack about harming his dog. But let's move on. The sentence handed down today, 40 months, a little over 3 years in prison. Of course, it's going to be appealed. But shouldn't the judge in this case be ordering an investigation into jury misconduct instead of sentencing Roger Stone?
If she hadn't facilitated it, she would. I mean, she basically made sure that the word of honor, so to speak, that these people say so without any further investigation, without any type of grilling, without any type of real examination. And not to mention, what's the Republican registration in the District of Columbia? 6%, half of which are probably never Trumpers, right? So you're talking about maybe Roger has a 3% chance of getting even one Republican juror on that jury. And this judge was, took them at their words, just literally asked them, well, do you have any biases? No, of course I don't have any bias. Do you think you can put those aside even if you do? Oh, well, of course I can, Judge. As if, it's again this leftist notion that they're the sanctimony, they're the water walkers, they're purists. They can murder in the name of justice. They can lie in the name of truth. This is their mindset. Like they can literally get them, don't kid yourself. They didn't lie their way onto this jury thinking I'll take care of it. I'll get this guy.
Yeah, or they're going to write a book, right? Which leads us to judicial bias, as I've been pointing to. This Amy Berman Jackson, for the record, appointed in 2011 by the 44th President of the United States. That would be Barack Obama. She's presided over much of the criminal aspect of this Mueller probe in a very questionable manner. She knows. The point we need to make here is she knows about this juror malfeasance, at least regarding the jury forewoman, and there are two others, by the way, who probably shouldn't have been on that jury. She knows that this woman is a Democrat activist, and apparently during the voir dire stage, which for folks who don't know is when you're interviewing the jury, during the voir dire stage, she sat this juror down, this radical, and said, hey, can you be impartial? Just as you're alluding to right now. And the jury said, oh, why, sure, Judge. I can be impartial. Meantime, she's posted about Roger Stone before the trial. That's outrageous.
This is classic Clintonian style. Even though she's an Obama appointee, it's classic Clintonian style mind control in a sense that the Clintons wanted to be able to lie to your face where they know they're lying, you know they're lying, and they know that you know they're lying. And yet we have to accept this. We have to accept their narrative. We have to somehow, because the mainstream media, the lamestream media, believe it or accept it as true, as some sort of good faith, proffer of reality. This judge, in the same way, should be bending over backwards to ensure the depoliticization of this trial and this proceeding and this anything that's involved with this. They should be bending over backwards. Instead, they're poo-pooing it as though it just doesn't exist, when the entire case, the entire premise of everything is political. There's nothing about this trial that isn't political, from the substance of it to how it's been conducted. Everything's political in it, and yet they just let it go on. She clearly shows her hand with her lackadaisical attitude towards the emergence of a partisan juror.
And as I said, they couldn't get Trump, so they went after Roger Stone, the next best thing to these radicals in the swamp.
I was going to say, you'll notice none of the people they went after held a position in government. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Metaphor.
Well, please, Tyler, keep us informed. Keep us informed what's going on with Roger. We talk directly with Roger, at least I do, and hopefully he can come on this program soon. I don't know about the gag order, the status of it. I'd love to have him back on the program. Let him know. Go ahead.
If I may just say one thing, this gag order extended beyond now first the conviction and now beyond the sentencing is an outlandish outrage that should never have. It is prior restraint on his First Amendment rights and an abuse of his Sixth Amendment rights, and this judge should be impeached and removed and disbarred as an attorney for her violation of this man's civil and constitutional rights.
Absolutely. Amen to that. Keep us informed on that aspect as well. As the shirt that's hanging in my office says right now, Roger Stone did nothing wrong. Tyler, thank you.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.